There we go.
So, all right.
Okay, so I've started the recording.
Great, thanks, Heather. So, evening, everyone. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. My name's Cynthia Olmesdahl. Don't worry about the surname. It's a complicated Norwegian surname. And I'm the project manager at the IIE for the new assessment platform. So I know I've been peppering you with announcements and emails and all sorts of things. So I'm here this evening. I'm not a motivational speaker, but I'm here to try and motivate you. And I just want you to know how many of you are planning on doing the assessment. I've just done I can do a poll. How many of you are interested in doing the? I won't do a poll. There are too few of you. How many of you are interested in doing the assessment trial? If you can let me know just in the chat, please. Oh, Tashreeq, that's great. So good to have you on board. Nalini?
Sorry, just elaborate on, is that the previous, I don't know how, I think previously there was announcements where to say, to try the assessment trials, and then
Yes.
when I tried, signing up with a phone and stuff, because it needed cameras and stuff, it just did not work, and I ended up just leaving it. But
I lost you a bit there, Tashreeq, but if you can hear me, what you need to do is not on your phone, you need to do it on your laptop. So if you go into that organization that I enrolled you guys all in, so if you go into that organization, it's called Online something or other. It's a good thing I can remember this. It's called... oh, you tried that also, Tashreeq. And did you WhatsApp the Invigilator app people to see if they could help you? Oh, okay. So I'll tell you what. They open at sort of 7 in the morning. So give it a bash tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sorry. Try not to give up but I am interested to know. So I suggest go and just try again in the morning. They're open from 7 in the morning till 7 at night. So you'll miss them tonight. And then just WhatsApp them and say, you don't know what's going on. There's a problem. And they'll give you a bell, and then you can, what they'll do is they'll have a look at what you're doing and see if they can help you. Pilelo, it's what it is. It's a new assessment platform, so we can start offering assessments online. So what we want to do, so we're just doing a trial now, and so it's to see if we can do, instead of having to come in to write your exams, and I'm not talking about this semester, you're going to have to come in and write your exams this semester, but it's for next semester. We're trying to move in 2024 to a point where you can write your exams online. Now we can't do that until we figure out if the yes, I'll do that, Tashreeq. If we can't move you on to doing assessments online until we know that the platform works, which is why we want you to do it. So that's a little bit of chicken and egg. So chicken and egg, such a bad analogy these days with all this avian flu. But anyway, we won't go there because the chickens are not around. So yes, I'll give you the contact information now. So what we're doing is we've the head of program has set up like a little 1 hour tech trial, and we want you to do the 1 hour trial and then let us know how you did. So Heather will give you some feedback on it. So it's really cool exam prep, because the questions are the sorts of things that you might get in the exam. So it's cool exam prep, but it's not high stakes. There's no risk to you. So if you go in and you try it and you can't answer the question, then hey, The benefit is you can make a note and say, I need to swap that one up before exams. But if you can answer it, the benefit is Heather will come back and say, cool, you got that one right. So there is definitely a benefit in terms of exam prep. So please, I've posted in the organization. So the organization is something. Where's it gone? So what I'll do is I'll send you guys an email from the organization. I seem to have lost my organizations. Don't you hate learn when things like run away, vanish? It's not showing anything. Oh, I see, because I've got a search thing in. It's called, no, I still can't find it. Okay, don't worry about me. I should know my way around learn. So I will send you an email in everyone who's eligible to do this. But the session we're trying to do, this trial, will be on Saturday morning at 9. So we'll be online from about 8. We'll send you a Collab link. We'll be online at 8, so you can come in and say you're ready or you're having problems. And then at 9, we'll get it started. So it's on Saturday morning. I don't know how that suits you guys. Saturday morning. Is it shopping morning? Or is it a problem? Or can you make it? You will try. Nalini, that's, oh, great. Yes, it's Saturday at 9 o'clock. Oh, Heather, where did you find these students? Love them to pieces. Okay, I'm going to leave you now. What I'm going to do is I will send you an email. It will be in your your Connect email address. I'm going to send you an email giving you a reminder and some more details. And Tashreeq, that will have the WhatsApp number that tomorrow morning you can just pop in and just WhatsApp. You know, go in WhatsApp and just say, look, you've tried a couple of times, not sure what you're doing, and the invigilator people will help you. Yeah, of course you can take pictures of the assignment. So okay. So much as we'd like you to be working as if it's an exam, you're welcome to do whatever you like. So what will happen is it'll be an invigilated assessment trial. And then when I look at the invigilator report, I will see Petlela was taking pictures with the phone. So, you know, if that were a real exam, then that would be considered a transgression or an infringement. But for this one, it's absolutely fine. So it's good. It's fine. In fact, nobody's asked that question, which is why I'm laughing. So, but in a real exam, what happens is this invigilator app, it's like, you know, Big Brother. It'll take the odd screenshot just to make sure that you're not crossing over to a different tab and you're not getting ChatGPT to do your answers. And then what it'll do is, if it hears a sound, so it works on sound. So it doesn't care if you, so it's all AI fueled. It's terribly clever stuff. It doesn't care if your partner or your mother or your child walks past and says, do you want a cup of tea? It doesn't care about that. But if they walk past and say, can I help you with that problem? And you say, yes, it's a creditor's ledger and I don't know how to do this, then obviously that pops up and it'll take a little video recording and then we'll be able to say, someone got help. So that's the sort of what I call the world peace. But for Saturday, it's just a trial. We want to know how you found it, whether it was too much jigging and jagging, because, you know, we need to make it more seamless. You might say you've struggled. I will be online. So I'll send you a link. I'll be online and you can always pop out of the assessment and say, I haven't cooking to what I'm doing. I've done something silly. Or you can just email that that email address. So the email I'm going to send you is going to come from an email address called online test. And if you reply to that email, I get it. Okay. All right. Any more questions? But it's actually it's not high stakes, but it's good prep. It'll at least tell you where your gaps are, or as I say, it might be quite cool because you might be able to say, I know this stuff. So yeah. All right. So I'm going to send that that email through shortly, and I'll leave you in Heather's hands. And then, as I say, next week, if any of you participate on Saturday, or it looks like most of you are going to try, then Heather will give you a little bit of feedback on the assessment. So it's an hour, so it would be like a test, but we're giving you an hour and a half because we give you time to figure things out and time to read, and so it's not high stakes. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. And spread the word, guys. It would be really, really nice to get input from you. Okay. All right. If you don't make it on Saturday, Pitlelo, you know, that's an interesting question. So I know you've got some evenings available next week. So I'll see what the uptake is on Saturday. And then what we can do is maybe check in with you or anyone who can't make it on Saturday and just see if there's an evening next week that suits you. And then we can add another evening in. Okay. So, but that doesn't mean you must just randomly sleep in on Saturday. It's coming up for exams. No more sleeping in. So, but just see how it goes, because I know, you know, work-life balance. Can you please remind the rest of the class? Yes. They can remind on WhatsApp group. And then, yeah, thanks, Heather. That's a great idea. But the email I will send will be to all the registered students. Okay. And I'll tell them to listen to this recording that I did pop in so they can listen to my motivational speech. Anyway, guys, I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. And, yeah, enjoy your evening with Heather, and well done on getting this far. Accounting is an important subject, and it's the weirdest thing, you know. I did accounting way back when, and now, like 30, 40 years later, it's amazing how much it stands in good stead. Anyway, there's my little sales spiel for Heather. All right, everyone. Cheers, hey. Cheers.
Thanks, Cynthia. Thank you.
Thanks, Heather. Cheers. Hey, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Cheers.
Okay, guys, so it all sounds really very interesting. And I mean, as students, your student life and study life over these next couple of years is going to get even more interesting with this. So 2023 is going to be known in the future as the year that AI arrived on our desktops. And but yes, so where we have had problems with students using AI in assignments, particularly, it's become so disheartening to mark assignments, and then you see that the student has just used ChatGPT and pasted it in. But from the other point of view, now it's going to be able to mean that online students don't have to travel from far away to try and get to an exam venue. They'll be able to actually write their exams online using this online invigilator that's all AI controlled. So things are definitely getting exciting and changing by the minute these days in education. So obviously, as Cynthia said, that this I won't call it an experiment, this test is only going to be very valuable the more students that take part in it and that can give us feedback. So as she said, it's only an hour. So if you can just pop on for an hour and encourage the rest of the class to do that as well. We'd like to get, say, at least 10 students on Saturday sitting down doing the test so that we can mark and then test the system out thoroughly. So we can get feedback so we can put it into full-time practice for next year. Okay, so we'd appreciate that. Awesome. Thank you, guys. The rest of what are we now? We're 7 o'clock, so we've had half an hour. We did start at 6:30, yeah. So I really appreciate that you guys gave us that time to go through that. What the other thing that I wanted to do with you this evening, and it doesn't matter if we don't finish this evening, we have got next week as well, which is also exam prep, is I was just going to give you guys a chance to ask me any questions that you are encountering at the moment with your revision. Is there anything, any place, any specific question, any specific chapter or learning unit that you are battling with that you'd like me to address next week in the NSS, or maybe in a video between now and when you write at the end of week 17. So we are in week 15 now, and it's Wednesday of week 15, and you are writing on Friday of week 17. So I've got time to prepare videos, etc., to assist you guys before then. But obviously, I don't want to just prepare random videos other than the ones I've already done. I'd like to make sure that whatever I cover in the NSS is something that you guys think that you need help with now. So you can let me know in an email, in a message on Learn if you can't think of anything right now. But if you can, let me know obviously before next week, Thursday, so that I know what to prepare for you guys for that NSS. And then obviously at any time that you're revising, any questions that you've got at all, I'm here to help you and to answer questions. So the other thing that I will also probably repeat next week, if I don't, I won't go through all of it now, is this document that I've got on the screen here that you can see. It's called a lesson plan, and it's just the document that I like to go through with students before you write your exam, so that it contains important things that you need to remember, important things that you must make sure that you have covered in your revision and that you've thoroughly mastered, because there are certain things that students commonly make errors with, or that they forget them and then end up losing marks in the paper. Sorry, I just quickly want to make one note here for the other students. Something that another student asked me. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at some of this. We'll probably just go another 10 minutes or 15 minutes max, and then I'll let you guys all go off to your Netflix. So this is what I call exam strategy, and I really can't emphasize enough how important it is, your whole strategy to approaching that hour and 20 minutes when you guys sit down there and you are completing your paper. You must have a plan before you go in as to exactly how you're going to approach the writing of the paper, over and above your preparation of the actual questions themselves. So you get 15 minutes reading time that doesn't come off your hour and 20 minutes writing time. So that 15 minutes reading time is going to be so precious. You must use it so that you set yourself up for when they say, okay, you guys can start writing. So you're going to read through the different questions in those 15 minutes, but you're not going to try and read through each question in detail. What you're looking for is basically the required of each question, so that you could quickly identify what are they asking you to do in each of the 5 or 6 or 7 questions in the paper. Because what that's going to do is you will always, as a student, know what work you know the best and what work you are sitting at home and saying, oh, I hope they ask me this question. Because then you are going to, let's say there's 6 questions in the paper. And when you look at question 5, you're going to say, oh, this is the one I've practiced and I know it like the back of my hand. You are then going to, when you start writing, you are going to do question 5 first, before you go on to the rest of the questions. So you guys will be given a template, just the same as you have your kind of your templates that you have for your assignments. So it doesn't matter in what order you do the questions. You don't have to start at question 1 and then do question 2 and then do question 3. You can do the questions in any order, and you absolutely must do them in the order of, first, the question that you know best and that you can get done correctly the fastest. And then you move on to the question that you know second best and that you can also complete correctly quickly. Because what this means is you'll be saving up minutes, because remember it's 1 mark a minute. You'll be saving up minutes. So let's say a question is 15 marks in 15 minutes, but because you know it so well, you complete it in 10 minutes. You've then saved up 5 minutes towards those questions that you want to slow down on, that you need a bit more thinking time, and perhaps you can't remember quite so well. So what you're then doing is you're leaving that extra time and the more difficult questions for the end of the paper or your end of your time, so that you can then relax because you know you've got good marks already for those questions that you completed, that you know well, and you can then use the remaining time to concentrate on the one that you need the extra time with without worrying, oh, there's still 3 questions waiting for me that I haven't finished. That alone can give you an extra 20% in your mark on the paper if you use that strategy correctly. So this is the kind of thing that I want you to think about and remember and just take as given when you walk into the exam, that this is what you're going to do. Use those 15 minutes, decide which questions to do first, what the order is going to be, and then you complete them in that order. And secondly, which is also tied to the same thing, is the second paragraph. You absolutely have to keep track of how many minutes you have spent on each of the questions so that you do not go over time. If a question says 15 marks, you've only got 15 minutes for it, so don't take 25 or 20 minutes for that question, because those extra 5 minutes that you've taken, you can't get that time back, which means you've stolen minutes from another question and you can't get those minutes back. So remember, just stop when you get to the end of the 15 minutes, carry on to the next question, because you can always go back at the end of the exam to check and tidy up any loose ends or complete any question that you didn't complete with whatever time you've got left. But you can't get any time back that you used up if you went over time on any one particular question. So again, just these 2 strategies here can make a 20% difference in your final mark. It stops you from getting stressed out. It stops panic from starting, and it gives you confidence that you've got a plan and you're going to get the maximum number of marks. Okay. And then also I want to just remind you guys, your learning objectives. I've just had my 3rd years on a collab now, and they still are forgetting about their learning objectives for their theory questions. Remember, at the beginning of each of your learning units, and you can find this list both on Learn or in your module outline, there's a bullet pointed list called learning objectives or learning outcomes. Those are the exact specific things that they will test you on in the exam. They won't ask you anything else if it's not a learning objective, but they can ask you any one of those learning objectives. Those are the learning outcomes that you'll be tested on. So make sure with each learning unit that before you revise that chapter, you go and have a look at the list of the learning objectives so you know exactly what you're going to be asked for that specific chapter, and then make sure that that's what you study. And then the last one that I'm going to cover this evening, because these specific areas I will cover on next week, Thursday, because it's going to be more detailed, but that I want to remind you of now so you can start doing this, is that accounting is a technical skill. It's like a vocational skill, which means it's something that you have to practice in order to get good at doing. Like as playing a sport, like playing a musical instrument, like painting pictures or drawing. When we start out with something, none of us can do any of those things well, but the more hours we put into practicing, which practice means repeating something over and over again until it starts flowing naturally, that is your, what could you call it? That is your superpower in being able to do well at accounting. And every single time you repeat a question or you repeat an exercise or an example, you'll understand it better and you'll get better at it, and you'll also get quicker, because remember, the exam is timed. So how fast you can do a question does matter. And the more you've practiced, the quicker you will be able to get that question down, and you will also get more of the question correct. So or this example I always use for the students, you don't enter a hurdles race, this is in athletics, without having practiced going round and round that track, jumping over those hurdles over and over again prior to the athletics meet. So the same thing, don't go into the exam room without having practiced questions and examples over and over again until you also are quite sure that you're not going to hit that top of that hurdle as you go around the track. And you're also going to build up your confidence, and you'll be less nervous if you know that you are really well prepared. Okay, so those are things that I want you to think about now in this next week as you really start your serious exam revision, because we're coming to the end now. You guys have only got 2 weeks before the exams after the end of this week. So this is what I want you to start really thinking about, being clever about preparing for the exam. And always remember, don't ever be shy to ask questions now while you're busy doing your revision. Even if it's a small thing, I absolutely don't mind. Ask me any question, anything, the smallest question. If you don't understand how they calculated or why did they do something in a particular transaction, please ask me, because that just might come up in the exam, and then you're going to think, oh, why didn't I ask Heather? Because I did come across that in my revision and I decided to ignore it. Okay, guys, so then that's where I'm going to end this evening. And then next week, Thursday, this is what I'm going to go over with you, specific areas that you've got to master. And there's all sorts of other very specific information here that I'm going to go over with you. Next week, as well as any question that any student has, let me know that they want me to cover. Okay, so everybody all good at this point? Anybody got any questions that they want to ask me now? You really are getting to the end of it. It's quite an exciting time when you know that this is it. You're nearly finished. You guys have worked so well this semester, and you guys have been very good about coming to collabs and doing your assignments. So I'm very proud of all of you. So I'm looking forward to marking your exams. I'm sure you're all going to do fabulously. Okay, guys, so don't forget, keep in touch with me with anything, any help that you need. And then if no one's got any questions, then I'll end off the recording here.